All right. So today I'm so excited to have my dear friend, Valerie Botazzi here. She is an amazing woman, a life coach and healer, and she has a specialty in helping you define your divine purpose. And today's call is all about the pandemic awakening to your purpose. And I know there's so much uncertainty at this time. And so Valerie and I have decided to join forces today in a conversation that you will be a part of and helping you to really discover your life purpose, no matter what is going on in your life, to get a deeper connection to that. So some of the highlights of today's training, what's in it for you. We're going to help you to embrace fear as fuel for your soulful path. You'll gain awareness of the hidden opportunities available right now and transform your experience of the pandemic for a richer life. So before I officially tell you how Valerie and I are connected, I'd like to read her bio because she, as I said, she is a rock star woman, and we're so happy to have her here in our community and are joining forces today. Valerie Shakti Bottazzi's life work is to be the catalyst for her clients' life-transforming experiences as she coaches them to create a lifestyle and business based on their soulful purpose. She's a best-selling author, 3 times entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and Fulbright Scholar. As a certified coach and healer, she teaches her clients how to make the same journey she has, that of quieting the analytical mind so that the inner wisdom can blossom. Her step-by-step process empowers women to enhance their lives with meaning by saying yes to their spiritual gifts and lead a life of inspired action, purpose, passion, and prosperity. So let's all give a warm welcome to Valerie.
Thank you for your welcome, Kelly.
Yes. So I figured I'd let them know how we're connected. We are both in a year-long business training, and with this training, we gather out in California and actually even in Hawaii, but we gather together in sisterhood. And I have found this community to be so amazing. And Valerie and I met, really met. I think I may have met her earlier in the program, but this past, I think was it this past summer? Was it summer, spring?
Yeah, July. It was
July
1st and the 4th,
Yeah.
that weekend.
Yeah, we were at a beautiful retreat center called 1440. If you ever have the chance to make it out there, it's out there in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And we were given an exercise. And so Valerie and I both love nature. And so we decided to do our exercise in the big redwoods. And Valerie offered up to do a healing for me, and I'll never forget it. And it was in that moment when I closed my eyes and we both sat in this redwood vortex that I really felt her magic. And I won't go into the specifics around that, but I'll tell you, she is an amazing healer. And we were BFFs really from that moment on. We've been in conversation, right?
Yeah. It was such a beautiful time, and just the magic, like for everybody listening, if you don't know 1440, 1440, that's because that's how many minutes are there in a day.
I believe
minutes,
so.
Right? Minutes?
Yeah.
Or seconds. I'm now thinking.
Right. Oh my gosh, it might be seconds.
So
we are not mathematicians.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Right?
60
but
times
it is.
24. It's minutes.
It is minutes.
24.
Yeah.
How many minutes are there in a day? And a reminder to make every minute count.
Yeah. And what a beautiful teaching for this time, to really be present. And so with that presence, I would like us all invite you, if you're listening, let's go ahead and turn inward and connect as sisters on this path as we set this intention for divine guidance and learning for the next hour that we have together. So I invite you to close your eyes, turning inward. Let's take some nice deep breath together. I invite you to breathe in love and imagine that it's a golden light. And as you breathe it in, it begins to fill your heart. And imagine this light expanding from the heart as it infuses every cell of your body. Feel that infusion of light. Imagine your body vibrating at the highest of frequencies, connecting into something so much greater than you. And yet this is you. You are God. It is God in you and outside of you, fusing as one. Connect into that beautiful heart space of yours and begin to feel that light extending outside of your physical body, connecting into the sisterhood that we've gathered here today. And also be willing to receive that love as we connect across the country and maybe even across the world as this message spreads, as a pandemic awakening is happening. And you have said yes to your divine guidance. Go ahead and wiggle your toes, ground this energy, feel the earth beneath you as she holds you in these times of uncertainty. Feel that rock of faith and unshakable certainty beneath your feet. Take a couple more deep breaths into your heart space, relaxing in for the next hour, this gift you've given yourself in discovering your purpose as we begin this discussion. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, gently gazing into the camera, and just give a little nod to the women that you see. This nod of, I see you. I see your light. And with that, sisters, we begin.
That was so beautiful, Kelly. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's start with, let's start with our beginning. Like the first bullet we have about this idea, there's so much fear out there, right? And you and I were talking about, like, how can we begin to use this fear as fuel?
Yeah, I'd like to address that for a moment because one thing that I there's two aspects that are coming up on fear. There's many, but there's two big aspects that I would love to address. And that was that more towards the beginning of this pandemic, a lot of people I spoke with, friends, colleagues, people in my community, children, everybody, we were feeling that beginning fear of what is happening at the beginning. Right now we've been into it for a while, so it's no longer a new thing, right? We're more kind of as everything, we get used to everything. So the first piece of the fear was about the fear of what's happening, the fear of what will be happening, the fear of confronting death, the fear of the pandemic that was actually happening, and all of those things. And there was a lot of fear in what I call the collective unconscious in the quantum field, from half the world at least feeling that fear, and many of us in empaths connecting and tapping into that fear that wasn't really fully ours, but that we had to learn to distinguish, right, which part was ours and which one wasn't. And the second piece that I'm discovering, which actually my newsletter from yesterday was about this, because I felt I had to put it out there, is that more and more people I know, and even ex-clients of mine came to ask me, since I'm a channel, right? They're like, what are you tapping into, right? But they were asking with fear of what will happen when this is over, and saying things like we're going to have to be injected chips and we won't be able to travel if we have chips, and the governments will be more overpowering than ever, and right, and they were going into that story.
Wow.
And so there's like two fears, right? Like two distinguishing, right? The past and what's about to come. And I think that, for the first part of the fear I spoke about, it is an important tool mostly to discern which one is yours, right? Which one is
Mm.
truly yours versus what is it that you're picking up from the collective. And, we can talk about what to do with that in a moment. But this other one, I do want to address immediately and what we can do about it, because the most crucial transmission I want to leave you with is that you and I and we are co-creating what this new world will be like once this is over.
Mm.
And we are all doing this, and you're doing this with your thoughts, with what you speak, and of course with what you do, but mostly at this time is your thoughts and your words. So we truly, if we are in that fear and we speak about these things, we will choose that reality, because right now there's many potential realities. The weavers of time and space are weaving. There's so many free wills still in the decision process that
Mhm.
there hasn't been a tipping point taking us towards this world or this world or that world,
Mm.
and everything is possible. So to be aware that each one of us is truly important, like the famous drop in the ocean that makes the ocean. There wouldn't be
Mhm.
an ocean with 8.5 billion drops, right? Like in people in the world. So we create this world. And it is so, I can't be adamant enough to remind you that it's your choice. So when those thoughts come, those fear thoughts come about whatever shape and form they have for you cannot push them away. If you try to push them away, they will be stronger, right? The resistance will make them stronger. What you can do is build in a time of sacred space and meditation the vision of the world you want. And when those
Mm.
fear thoughts come, put that on it. Bring
Mm.
that
So it's
vision.
almost like what I'm hearing you say, you almost put a replacement, right?
Yes, yes.
It reminds me of a technique that I've worked with before, where sometimes these thoughts, let's say a fearful thought like, oh my gosh, one that many people might relate to is, how am I going to pay my mortgage this month, right? Some people have lost their jobs. So that fear comes up, and we have an opportunity to say, cancel that and replace it. What you said, put on it that which you want, that which you desire.
Yeah. And you know what? I thought you were going to use a different example. This for me is, I learned it in psychology, but I mean, I remember with babies, when babies are crying because you don't give them whatever toy that is dangerous, like a knife, they're eating and they want the knife
Right?
and you take it away and they're, with the knife. And then if you keep saying, no, the knife is bad for you, I want the knife. So what you have to do, what you do is like, oh, look at this apple. It's like,
Totally. Totally.
we do with kids, right? But that's our mind is like a kid. We do this with our minds. We can control our minds. But if we resist it, we can't, because then the mind will bring more of the same. It's the famous do not think about a pink elephant. What am I
Exactly.
thinking right now? A pink elephant, right?
Exactly.
So the way is to put a new vision. Think of a white elephant. What are you thinking of now? A white elephant, right? So that
Exactly.
creation, it's important that you created in your highest self, when you're connected to your highest self. So do it, create some sacred space, light a candle, go walk in nature, do whatever it works for you to create that wellness, right, within you. And when you're in that space, dream without borders of what is the new earth
Mm-hmm.
you want to be the result of this. And
Mm-hmm.
once you create that and feel into that, anchor it in, and that's the one you keep bringing in every time that a fear thought about what may be coming comes through.
Yes. I love that. I love that lesson of what I call the redirect, right? And we use it with little kids all the time, especially in positive parenting. It's like they're going in one direction. It's like, look over here, look over here. And it's redirect, redirect. And I'm finding
Redirect.
that I'm needing to do that even in my, own household and with clients. And I also think that what I have discovered in this process is, to have, it's that dance of empathy and then redirect, right? And so what I find, like, especially if you're listening and you have friends and family and loved ones that are also spinning out and they're calling you with all the stuff, because I'm getting it, right?
We all are.
It's a dance. It's such a dance to acknowledge them because they're in fear and practice that empathy of like, wow, I'm really hearing how scared you are. Like, see if, like, wow, that must be, I know that's so it's breaking my heart. I'm hearing it's breaking your heart too. So it's like that first piece of like acknowledge, like to be in the empathy, and then see if you can align with them. Like, yeah, wow, I mean, here's the reality. There's a lot of death. And do you realize so it's like you acknowledge them, you empathize, and then you begin to redirect. And what I love to do is, as you said, like the vision of what you want, you could also use like, yeah, but did you hear about that person that sent all the pizzas to those workers at the nursing home, or like whatever? Like, it's fascinating what we can do and how powerful we are as individuals to help the collective redirect and redirect. As we said, the fuel. That's the fuel. Fear of fuel of like pivoting it, because it's all energy.
Yeah, yeah. And also, thank you for saying that, because that reminds me too that the first step is to not only acknowledge the others when they call you, but your own fear when it comes up. So when you feel your own fear, it's like, what are you here to show me? What are you here to tell me? And love and be compassionate to yourself. And then do that replacement technique that we're saying, right? The one you're just talking about. So that's a super important point.
Absolutely.
And you said something else and something flowed into my mind, but it just escaped. It'll come back if it has to be out there.
It'll flow right back. It'll flow right back. I do want to let the listeners who are on the call, to let them know at any point in time, you all can raise your hand and ask questions, or you can put something in the chat box. So I'm kind of monitoring. Valerie, you're a little bit more versed on Zoom. If you could give our listeners a little directives on raising their hand and engaging with us too.
And I will, but I just remembered what I wanted to say. So I will say that after I give directions, which is important. So what I want to say about directions, participants can click on underneath their screen. There's a little thingy that says reactions. If you click that, I'm going to show you. You have claps or you have thumbs up. That's kind of like 2 reactions. And then when you click under participants, at the bottom, you can raise your hand. See how I just raised my hand? And then if you click it again, you lower your hand. So you can do that. And then you have yeses and nos under there. So that one is under participants at the bottom of your screen. You click it and you can raise your hand. It's really simple. So what I wanted to say, which is for me very important about how to create this new world, is that I have started this movement everywhere I go, in my newsletter, in my posts, that if you are willing, at noon, your time zone, put an alarm every day on your phone. And when it rings for 60 seconds, put your counter in your phone, close your eyes, and envision that new world. So it's an invitation for all of us, like wherever we're in the world, if at noon we're doing it, every hour of the day somewhere is doing it, right? Because around the world, like I have people in Europe, in South Africa, in Australia, in Argentina, in Eastern Coast, in Pacific, in Mountain, so we're at noon, our time, we're doing that. And it takes 60 seconds and it is so powerful. And it's also part of the pause technique and breathe. There's a technique called the stop technique, and it's whatever you're doing, stop. Even in the middle of like cooking something, stop for a minute, breathe 3 times, and that brings you into serenity, brings you into the present moment, right? So this is a spin-off of that. Is at noon, the alarm goes off.
I
Oops, I
love
need to
that.
think for 60 seconds about the world I want. Close your eyes and envision that world, and envision, emote. Because 60 seconds seem very little, but energetically for the universe, when you're feeling into that, is a lot. We're
Yeah.
creating waves.
Yeah. Brings us back to that 1440, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
how many minutes in a given day can we be conscious? Can we be present? And then, you know, in that minute, like you shared, what is a world that you would envision? I mean, I think about having a daughter, like what world will she grow into, right? And so bringing that focus, and we as humans, we are powerful creatures. We are powerful to create and destroy, and we get to choose. We get to choose, right? We get to create, we get to co-create, and magic is happening like right here, right now. People are waking up to their purpose. They've been really unhappy in their lives, and the world is causing them to pause, to stop, right? And many of whom it's like against, you know, everything that they would ever do. We have so many doers. They're constantly doing. So taking this as an opportunity to stop and get
Yeah.
clear on what does that future look like.
The other thing about that, Kelly, still on the same topic, is that, you know, fear as fuel, like,
Yes.
right? So fear and excitement in our bodies are the exact same frequency. We measure the waves energetically from a physics standpoint.
Yep.
It's the exact same vibration. But excitement has hope in it, right? And has possibility, and fear has contraction, right?
Right.
So how can we differentiate? How do we tell the body to differentiate, to use that fuel and transform it into excitement and possibility, right? Because the energetic is there. So it's
Yes.
when you feel the fear, what's happening is the story that you're telling yourself in your mind that's creating that energy to contract and close you up. So when you feel that, I'm telling you, we are telling you this so that you have the awareness, so that when this is happening, you can take notice. And it happens to all of us, no matter
Right.
how elevated we are in our spiritual world, because we're picking up back to the first type of fear I talked about, the collective, right?
Yeah.
The wave is so big that we are tapping into it even when we don't want. So when that comes in, be aware, oh, I'm feeling it, right? I'm contracting, my stomach is tightening, or my buttocks are contracting, right? The
Right.
sphincter, that's fear, right? So whatever it is, or your shoulders, and then say, okay, what's the story in my mind? Okay, let's use another story, the story of hope and possibility, that I'm co-creating the world, the one I choose, like you were saying, Kelly, to construct, to build, to create, with, because I'm aware of my power. And that
Absolutely.
shifted. That's the fuel. It shifted. And so now fear becomes possibility,
Yes. In the moment, because why? You decided it to be.
because Buddhism says, be the master of your mind. This is a Buddhist principle.
Mm-hmm.
And when our minds get into the loops and control us, that's when we feel this feeling of out of control, right? We go where the winds take us in our lives. When we learn to be masters of our minds, then we can stay in this aligned state. And to learn how to be masters of your life, of your mind, there's so many techniques. Meditation for sure helps. These type of hacks, because these are hacks, right? What we're talking about, these are
Absolutely.
not techniques, but it's a hack that when um it becomes a well-known internalized hack, then it's fast,
And
right?
then what I love about that is you actually give yourself choice.
Because you choose,
You choose.
you
I
put the
choose.
button and you
Right.
choose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And actually, that rewiring of what our feelings mean. And as you said, fear and excitement, physiologically exactly the same thing, you know, rapid heart rate, blood pressure increasing, sweating, you know, the whole sympathetic nervous system engaging. And I had something really similar happen on a call this morning with my divine sisters. Actually, we've got one on the call. Shout out to Kathleen. Woo woo!
Yes. Hello. Thank you for being here. I know.
Yes. So there was this moment on the call, and I was sharing of my deep, deep gratitude for the abundance in my life. And what welled up in me was tears. And so, and it was like this overwhelming, a wave of gratitude. And you could take that same, hello, Kathleen, that same physiology of tears, and someone in the moment, if they hadn't heard the context of our conversation, what would they say? What would they think I was?
Sad.
Maybe sad. So same kind of tears, same kind of thing. It's like the tears were similar energy to sadness, but I was in such joy and such gratitude. So it is really a beautiful, beautiful thing when we can actually look at physiology and begin to consider that something else could be going on, and how much choice do I have in this to reframe what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so just another example. Okay, let's go on to another blit. Gain awareness of the hidden. I love that, hidden, because we all want to know what's hiding. The hidden opportunities available now. So what are your thoughts on that, Valerie?
Oh boy. It's funny because I'm actually in awe of this moment. And I think you and I discussed that without even speaking about this, we both did a Facebook Live about this, and it's about the fact that I speak Spanish and you don't, but corona means crown.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so for me, it was evident from the very beginning. Now many people are talking about this, but I got like the divine download immediately. This is the awakening. It's the crown chakra, is this one, is the one we have here, and it's the one that connects to the universe, and it's the exit and entry point on the connection that we have through our kundalini channel, our spinal cord, where the main chakras are, to the earth, right? That's the exchange happens through it. And the crown chakra is our connection to the divine, our connection to the universe. And this is truly an opening up of this chakra of everybody in humanity. And this is, many people are going to open up and many are not. Not everybody is going to choose, right? That's the famous free will we were talking about at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And the hidden opportunity, which is not that hidden anymore because we're talking more and more about it, not just we, thankfully it's spreading the voice out there, is that this is truly a time where Earth has given us an opportunity for us to do something that the majority of human beings were not doing, which was stop running and stop escaping forward into the doing. Stop saying all of the excuses about I don't have time, I can't meditate because I don't have, I can't be with my family because I don't have, I can't, I can't look at my relationships because I don't have time. And so many things that were not working. Now, since you are home with all those people that are your family with whom you may or may not have a good relationship, and since you're home with you, with whom you may or may not have a relationship with yourself,
yes,
right? The hidden opportunity is not hidden. It's all this time. This is the time to confront the relationship. Is this a bad marriage? Is it savable? Is it not? Let's move on. We all deserve happiness, right? Let's make the decision. Let's not escape from it. And since we're not there, we don't decide. This is with me. Don't go forward into the TV, into the numbing yourself with food, into whatever it is. You're home 24 hours a day. Take some time to go inside. Take some time to learn new techniques of meditation. Read what you put in your mind, what you read, what you watch on TV. Don't be hooked to the news all the time. Be hooked to higher level thought process videos, or so this is the hidden opportunity for us as humans. And then the other opportunity, which thankfully it's no longer hidden, it's how fast our planet is reacting into its healing, right? Like the
Oh,
Himalayas being seen in India after generations that couldn't see them. People were born, hadn't seen the Himalayas, and now after 30, 40 years are seeing them. The oceans, Venice with swans and dolphins, Venice in Italy, instead of the canals being
wow.
polluted, and the skies of Europe and China clean of pollution, and the skies of LA and the skies of New York, and the less consumption of petroleum and noise pollution and all these things, right? What is showing us is that, for me at least, the awareness is that how much faster and resilient the earth is than we thought
Yes.
it was. Like, I know I didn't think that such healing at the level of the earth could happen so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's almost like it was designed by nature. I mean, here it came in as a little virus, and to think that's also a metaphor. Like, you might just think you're this little thing, right? You are profound. You have a profound presence in you. If you're listening, remember, it's a little tiny virus you can't even see that has stopped this world. And that is how powerful you are, right? And so
Yeah.
it's like, and so if nature came through as a virus to stop us all, to heal herself and heal one another, what a beautiful plan. And yes, amongst that, wherever we have great rebirth, there was death that came before that. And that's what's so challenging, right? Because it's like hanging in the balance. There's death and rebirth. There's death and rebirth. And so we get to choose, where are we going to bring our focus? And if there is death in your life, and there is going to be death of the way you go about things, there's death of parts of yourself will die during this,
They
right?
have to,
It
so that there's
has
room for
to.
the new.
Exactly. So it's just such a powerful metaphor. And I also see in this process, we have this duality coming up like never before: black, white, good, bad, prosperous, poor. Like, it's like so loud. And we're being asked to find where these polarities merge into oneness, because they came from the same place. You flip a coin, is it heads or is it tails? It's still a coin, right? And so I also see
Mm.
that as a hidden opportunity of dualities merging into oneness.
And what's beautiful about what you're saying is, oh my God, I love it, because I was thinking about it and you just like brought me the segue in a silver tray, is that, the other hidden opportunities that we have been brought together against an invisible foe, right? This is
Yes.
not a war, so there's no sides, right? It's like, this is an invisible foe. So right now we're all together against an invisible foe. The opportunity is to remember to stay together after the invisible foe goes away. And the thing, like you say about duality, is that the earth and our minds, the essence is dual. The earth is dual, night and day, cold and hot. The earth is dual. Our minds live in duality. But the only place in our chakra system where duality dissolves is in our hearts. The heart chakra
Oh,
doesn't have duality, doesn't have polarities, doesn't have belong and not belong. The heart is give and take, it's a flow. And
yeah.
so when we can become one and remember that we're one, not against a foe, but one, because
Yes.
we are integrated things, that's the other hidden opportunity.
Absolutely. Oh, so beautiful. Kathleen, thank you for sharing. She just shared, Dr. Curley and Valerie, you are speaking such powerful truths. So thank you. Yeah. I would love to hear from women who are listening. What I would like to know, what types of hidden opportunities are coming up for you? And if you'd like, you can raise your hand,
I'd
or,
love to hear too and
yeah,
get the dialogue.
I really would love to hear. So you can raise your hand or jump in the chat. I'll just go ahead and make it really easy, and hopefully we won't have too much background noise. I'm going to unmute all lines, which may prove to not be a good idea, but let's see what happens. Just like a classroom, let's see what
I
happens if
love
we
it. I love it.
unmute it all. All right, ladies, hop in, tell us, start sharing. What have been some hidden opportunities for you?
This is Kathleen. I'll jump in and say the opportunity to slow down
Yeah.
and to work on projects that were just a bit overwhelming because I didn't have the time. The perception of I didn't have the time because I was so busy on other projects, traveling and just being out there in the world. And now to come home and cocoon back to the priorities of moving forward has been a real gift.
So beautiful. So beautiful. And Kathleen, I know the work that you do in the world. She is an amazing coach also. And the fact that you are able to bring that attention to those things that you've been wanting to do is just so beautiful. And so I know we will all be blessed, or we are all blessed as you share and you cook and you create. So, and I love this idea. You said like we come home, this idea like we're all in the womb right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Lots of womb energy. And I love the womb energy. Like I remember when my daughter was first born, and I, took that time that they tell you to. She was born at home, and it was just like we were in, even though she was outside of my body now in the world, like we were in that cocoon for quite some time. We didn't go in the outside world. Everything was brought to us and all of our needs were met, and we were just hunkered down in connection in that womb energy. And what a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I love that you shared that, Kathleen. Thank you, because you reminded me when Kelly was talking that I did want to mention that the opportunity to stop and cocoon, that for us, you were talking about death, right, Kelly, and death and rebirth. When we go into the cocoon, the famous, the caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly, right? When you're in the chrysalis, when you're in the cocoon, you do have to die to the old to be reborn as a new, element, whatever that is. And you have to allow things from you, parts of you that are no longer useful for you, to stay in the past and to bless them as those parts of you that helped you be who you are today, but that are no longer serving you in the future, you that you want to be. And the most common example of that is strategies that we put in place in our lives to overcome traumas or to overcome shortcomings, that it comes a time in our lives when that thing, that strategy that helped us all those years is now holding us back. And so now it's the time to say, okay, this strategy worked for me, and thank God I had it. It protected me until now, but right now, this is no longer serving. I need to dissolve it and let it go. And so that's a death, right, of a part of us, it seems like, but it's really a birthing of a much bigger part of us, and much joyful and more meaningful and fulfilled and more true to our full essence.
Absolutely. Whew, on fire, ladies. I'd love to hear from more ladies. Go ahead and
thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you, Kathleen. Yes, your wisdom.
Hi, Dr. Kelly. This is Judith.
Hello, Judith. Oh, my. Sending you love. I'm so glad you're on the call.
Sending you much love as well. The two things that I know have been quite powerful for me during this time is patience. I have found that where there's patience, there is peace. And it's something I've strived to have most of my life. And now it is almost effortless because I have the time to be patient, but moreover, it has taught me how to be patient, which I hope I can carry through once this craziness is over with. The other thing, well, I've always been grateful, and the older I get, the more grateful I get. The thankfulness aspect for even the smallest things, like when I go to the grocery store, I always thank the cashier for coming to work so that I can have food on my table. Because without that, this could be so much more difficult than what it is already. So patience and thankfulness it's just really become a part of me. I hope that it will be who I am forever coming out of this. And I hope it grows more and more.
I see that. It is. You're holding that space for all of us right now. I wrote it down because it's like those, as Oprah says, those tweetable moments. Judith just dropped us one where there is patience, there is peace. And just hearing you say that, and in your voice, I hear that you are embodying that. And what a gift to everyone who is currently listening. And your gift of this peace, we are recording this and we'll be sharing this. And so thank you. And that gratitude. So thank you so much. I remember
Debbie is saying, yes, like thumbs up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm noticing even the simple things like water, clean water. Like what I know that there are people on the planet that don't have clean water. And, just, it's like the simple things. I turn on the spigot now and I'm like, wow, clean water. So yes, a deepening of our gratitude of things we take for granted.
And I do want to say to Judith something, again, same feelings. Thank you for such beautiful statement. But Judith, know that when new levels of consciousness come to us, when we raise our awareness, there is no going back. So you can rest assured that now that you've felt into this patience and peace and gratitude or thankfulness, I love the word you use, thankfulness instead of gratitude. I love that. That's now part of your new awareness. And yes, also when crazy life starts again, you will be thrown off that horse, but now you know how to get back on it because you already know that it's there and you know how you feel when you're there. And it's a new awareness that nobody can take away from you. So make that statement for yourself to recognize it and claim it as yours. And it's yours. I have goosebumps as I'm saying this.
Yes.
Forward.
Thank you so much, Valerie, for telling me that. That is an affirmation that I was of what I want to be and grow into, but also to know that I won't lose what I'm building on now. That's very reassuring. Thank you very much.
You won't.
So beautiful. Does anyone else like to share some of the hidden gifts that they're experiencing?
Well, this is Kathleen. I'll jump in one more time and if I could, acknowledge and appreciate the two of you for leading such a lovely and heart-filled webinar today. And, Facebook Live, just thank you for doing this because I know everyone is just being touched. I know I'm being touched by what you're speaking, your essence, who you are, and the ripple effect of this time together is just, we'll never know how powerful it will be, the lives that will be touched. Thank you very much.
Kathleen, thank you for saying that. Thank you for witnessing this. Thank you.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Somebody's saying thank you, Kelly and Valerie, and hugs. And
gotta run.
You know what? Can we talk about what's coming up next week? More of this.
Yeah.
More of this.
Perfect. So I know you recently Valerie did an awakening boot camp that was a tremendous success, touched a lot of people's lives. And do you want to share kind of what's on your heart now? And
yeah,
you're up to?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was beautiful for me it was like this webinar multiplied 9 times because it was 9 hours in 3 days of 3 hours with a break in the middle. It was
Wow.
90 minutes break, 90 minutes break, and for 3 days in a row. And it was an opportunity to go in full depth, free, of course, in full depth about more of what we're saying, tools, so that you can truly raise your frequency, and, you know, a lot more in depth of this journey. And it was fantastic. And I'm doing it again next week. So if anybody missed the opportunity to being in it live, then it's your chance to be there live with me next week and ask questions and be coached and receive the healing and the transmission and find out about what you can do for yourself to fulfill your needs, to raise your frequency. Where are you in your own journey of your own unfolding, just like Judith is discovering these pieces, more of that. There's very specific frameworks I'm going to give you so that you can understand what that is for you. And then also knowing with a lot of clarity, because of those frameworks, what's next and how to go to that what's next. And I love to be in that space. I love to do that. Of course, you know, we are all coaches and healers, and when we do that, we will offer something. So we'll be making an offer, you know, in all honesty, but I also will be giving so much content and so much value like I did last time, because I love this time of awakening. I am passionate about it, as I'm sure you can tell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to let you know, in the chat, we have Larissa shared, the Awakening Bootcamp was absolutely life-changing. Such an empowering and touching experience. And then Debbie said, yes, it was amazing. I second that. Valerie is awesome. She is so inspiring. And I also just want to say, I mean,
Thank you, Debbie and Larissa.
You're so real. You're so so connected, so intuitive. Your gifts are so profound, and what a gift that you're giving, you know, during this time, because people are searching. People need this level of support, and I encourage you. You know, if you're listening or you're listening to the replay, you need to mark your calendars. It's next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Is that
April
right?
29th, April 30th, and May 1st from 10 to 2 Pacific. And you're going to put a link.
And we'll put a link. Yep. We will follow up for everyone who registered. We'll follow up with a link. And for those that are listening to the replay, I'll put it in the comments section, I guess would be the best place. Yeah.
Yeah, the comment or the description to the video, or both.
Yeah, just some logistics. I'm curious for you, Valerie, like how were you inspired to do the line of work that you do around helping people to awaken? Like how did this come to be, Valerie?
Well, the short answer, because there's a long answer.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So let me just say that, you know, you said, well, how wonderful that I'm doing the Awakening Bootcamp. And truly, truly, my powerful belief is that I stand for this earth where we're all living our purpose. This is really the vision I have, like this utopian that I believe to be possible. And I work with women so that they can find what this purpose is and live it, but especially to open up all these gifts of receiving from the divine, right? All the ways in which you can truly listen accurately and trust that intuition, and then what to do with that. And we don't all need to be coaches, because I believe that, you know, mothers are important if they're connected to the divine, and, you know, siblings and workers. And if can you imagine a world, a life, an earth where we're all connected and acting from that flow, doing what is that we know how to do.
Yes.
Right? That is what I stand for. And how I got into this line of work, the short story is because I always felt the calling. I found out my abilities to heal and to channel when I was very young, a teenage, when I lost a sister, a father, and my grandma all in 18 months. And that led me, and my sister, in a very tragic way. So that led me into a big search for answers and explanations. And that's when I discovered that I had 100% accuracy in guessing somebody's illnesses, or, you know, these type of things. And so then that led me into a path for many, many years, until like 15 years ago, I'm 56, so until I was 40, where I kept like not listening to that, not listening and not listening. And that led me to get really, really sick, and get really, really, and get close to people that hurt me a lot, because I wasn't listening, right? I couldn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so effectively what happens, and the gifts of these painful experiences, are that they lead you to such depths of desperation that you're like, I can't stay here any longer. What is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to, right? What is it? I'll do anything, right?
Yes.
Just so that this suffering stops. And so that's what led me to understand that my purpose was in line with becoming a healer. So I started studying with different masters, shamans, and I started getting a lot of formation into healing with energy and with colors and with sounds, and being a coach and certified coach. And, you know, it was kind of like, I couldn't get enough, you know,
Yeah.
of all of that. And as I went through that journey, I was healing my own traumas and my old parts and my own body. That was also, you know, the whole journey. And it was so finally clear that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that my whole journey was a gift to make me understand how we operate, so that I could help others do the same thing. That's like the super short version of it.
I love it though. I love it. And just acknowledging so much passion, right? You put that passion and you marry the passion with your gifts. Whoo! Wow, what you can provide, you know, anyone who's listening. Valerie is the real deal. And I have found in my years of studying the greats, you know, studying the greats, I think one thing that is congruent is that it seems like there is a fallout before there's a
Always.
Like you follow that consistently to the people that you admire the most. Look at the greats. And Valerie, you are a great, you know, and, you know, you're going back to our original bullet point, which was, how do you use this fear for fuel, right? So it's like darkest night of the soul. That's often when the ahas come and the gifts come, and we can no longer deny that which we don't want to look at. And we take our wounds and we cocoon and we heal and we come out like the butterfly you spoke about. And you're flying, girl. You're flying, and you're inviting other women to break out of that cocoon and fly in their own unique talents and gifts.
Yeah. I am definitely living my passion. It's like every day the alarm goes off at 6. Sometimes it doesn't even go off because I'm on my own, and I'm literally chomping at the bit about the day to come, which is like such an amazing way to be alive. Like I'm sure you are too, because you are also living your passion. But it definitely wasn't that way. There were years when the alarm would go off and I would cuss, literally.
Oh,
it's like another day of this nightmare. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And it's the journey. And yes, every single person that has gone there by falling 7 times and getting up 8, and not 1 time, 8 times or 10, or, you know, we all fall down. And I've certainly fallen down many, many times, and maybe I will fall down again and get back up, right? Because now I know what I'm doing more. But it's not about the road being easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it's definitely worth it. And I think I'm quoting somebody, and I don't know who, but I've heard this phrase before, right? It's definitely a worthwhile road.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay that we can't give proper attribute, but when you said, you know, you fall down over and over and over again, and we're all going to fall again. Like that's part of the human experience. That's part of the learning.
Right.
My question for you, I'd love to ask this question, is that, you know, it appears that life changes over a really long period of time, right? And here's the reality. When was for you where it was the moment that you're like, change is here? No
Yeah.
turning back. When was your
I
moment?
love what you're saying, because the thing is that when life changes, you're not seeing it until
Yeah.
suddenly. It's like, I call it like the funnel to laser, right? But
Yes,
suddenly it's like broad, closer, and suddenly quantum leap,
exactly.
right? That's what I call it, right?
Yes.
So definitely there were like two quantum leap times on this path. There was one quantum leap time, which is when I finally decided to divorced the father of my children, who was an abuser, and I was in that relationship. That was 15 years ago. That was when, enough of this, I'm choosing myself. And that was huge, and to leave that relationship implied so much courage, but it was instant the minute the decision was made. And
Yeah.
I meditated more than 3 years into that decision. Like, I couldn't make it, and suddenly it was like boom, like a mature fruit
Yeah.
that comes to
Yeah.
the,
It's that,
and from
right?
then everything changed. And then the other one was 4 years ago, and that's when I was still owning my business, Tuscany Real Estate, and doing this on the side, because I've been doing this on the side for like 15 years and healing on Saturdays. And suddenly it was this thing. It was through a coach of mine that some things he said were like this. My mind exploded, and I'm like, I can't keep doing these two things. I need to be full on this is it. And that's when I decided, and a year later I had sold my real estate company, and I was 100% just doing this and building this.
So you
That was
remember
a
that?
huge thing.
You remember that one conversation with that one coach, right? It
Yes.
wasn't like a series. It was
Yeah.
like one day, boom, game changer.
Look,
right?
I'm getting goosebumps remembering it,
Yes.
because I was bawling. I was crying desperately, because the calling was so powerful and I wasn't being able to do it. And so I always say that if you don't listen to the calling, there comes a time when you will implode. Like, literally, you will get or really sick, or like, I almost died sick from what happened to me, and it was so powerful, and I couldn't heed it. I hadn't been able to heed it. Not I couldn't, right? Until that talk, when I said, okay, whatever it takes, that's it. And that's it, that moment. Right.
Yep.
And then dun, and then things happen, magic happens, synchronicities happen. And then things start changing, and it leads you there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tony Robbins says it's the moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And whoever's listening right now, there's a moment here. There is a moment to work with this amazing woman. She has gifted all of you with this 3-day awakening boot camp. And what a gift. And you might be a year from now, and somebody might ask you this question: when was the moment when everything changed? And it could be that moment right here, right now, when you say yes to Valerie. To say yes, I'm gonna go check her out. I'm vibing with her. She's my people, and you show up, and you show up for yourself. And so, Valerie, you may have just created that moment for a person listening right here, right now, whether you're listening live or on the replay. Get your butt in that seat of Awakening Bootcamp with Valerie. Gift yourself. Clear your schedules. Yeah.
Thank you. And I know there's 2 people here I want to honor, because they've said yes to my year-long program even. So they're watching.
Wow.
And I'm so appreciative of them, Larissa and Debbie, watching that. They're still listening to these things, and they are in my year-long program, and they were in the awakening, and thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for your dedication to yourselves and your dreams, and to let me be with you in that journey.
Oh, I love it. I totally love it. Yeah, it just goes to show you, I mean, there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And we find the person that's a beautiful teacher for us. And yeah, it says a lot about you, Valerie, for them to show up today, the value that you provide, right? They wouldn't be here, right? Unless they knew you really deliver great value. And
thank you.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to open up to see if there's any questions that people have, or anything that they would like to share about even their awakening, or anything around this call. Or I'm just going to go ahead and unmute all again, give you opportunity to ask Valerie something. So it's either a question or a share, something that you'd like to share. So I went
And
ahead and unmuted.
Kathleen put something in the chat. Appreciate Kathleen. She said, how can you reach me, right? How can somebody watching reach me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Valerie Botazzi or Valerie Shakti Bottazzi. On Instagram, I'm Valerie Botazzi. So wherever you put my name, you will find me. My website is Valerie Botazzi. So it's very easy to find me everywhere with the same name.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
Catherine says, I loved our time
Thank
together.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Larissa
you,
says,
Kathleen.
the journey is magic, life-changing and heartfelt. Thank you, Larissa. Dr. Kelly, you attract passionate people and brave.
Bravo.
Bravo. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. It's been wonderful being here today. And for those of you here or listening to the replay, also remember to put that alarm at noon and do 60 seconds of envisioning the new world that you desire, because it's going to be worth it.
So I'm putting the chat box right now. I just put at Valerie Botazzi. Is that correct? Where they can find you on Facebook and some of your social media accounts. Awesome. Awesome. And I'm just looking if there are any raised hands. Just an opportunity to ask Valerie anything you want.
You know, it is noon right now. Shall we do 60 seconds all together?
Yes. You want to lead us?
Yes, I'm not going to talk. Let's just close our eyes. I'm going to start the counter now. Close our eyes and just go feel and emote and dream and envision in your mind's eye the world that you would love to live in. Use your mind's eye, use your gut, use your heart to feel, to see, to imagine. That's it. That's how short it is. That's it.
It's so short, but it's so long
Like
too.
it takes nothing, and yet it's super powerful.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. It was perfect. It was like, no, right now.
Timing is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I know we are.
This is Judith.
Yes, Judith.
This is Judith again. I would just like to thank you, Dr. Kelly and Valerie, for providing what I feel is a lifeline today. It just the positivity and the love that I'm feeling from this Zoom call is just making me very grateful. Thank you both for doing this. It means more to a lot of us than what you'll ever know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Goodbye, everybody. We're in the closing. Anyhow, thank you, those of you that need to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people are saying, thank you, I need to go. This has been beautiful. Thank you for taking the time to teach us such positivity and happiness. So people are thanking and leaving. So I thank you for this space, Kelly. I love the time we spend together every time. It's just powerful when we're together. It's just fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, and it's an ability for me to do what I love. And thank you and many blessings. So people are thanking and saying goodbye. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for receiving what we have to give, because that is also important, right?
Yeah.
To have the echo of everybody's hearts as you listen to this. So thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. So we bless you all, whoever's listening. We bless you. I'm going to go ahead and we'll stop the recording.